So we have been discussing about this forming processes. So in the last class, we discussed about what are forming processes, how they are different than other product realization processes. Then consequently, we discussed about hot working, cold working, uh, warm working as well. And I also discussed to you about the importance of the recrystallization temperature. So in today's class, we move ahead and we discuss about the first process, that is the rolling process. So rolling process, as the name itself is telling, that it involves basically application of the compressive forces, basically to change the, in particular, the thickness of the workpiece. So in most of the forming processes, the workpiece is termed as stock. We call it as stock. So just a minute. So most of the forming processes, the workpiece is known as the stock. And if you talk of rolling, so what happens in rolling? We have two metallic rolls as shown here. So we have these two metallic rolls as shown here. So these two metallic rolls, what they do is basically they compress the workpiece. I request everyone to please mute their mic. Arman Garg. So what is being essentially done here, that these two rolls are basically compressing the workpiece. So in the nutshell, the thickness of the final piece, that is, if you see T final, and this is the T initial. So the thickness it reduces. So I will say that T final is less than T initial. So if we talk of the width, so width will remain almost constant. So there is no change in the width. And if I talk of length, so length will increase drastically. So what happens in this process? This is like you are pinching the material inside the gap between these two rolls, and as the material passes through these two rolls, see, it is the thickness which goes on reducing. So this is similar as what you have seen, that how a sugar cane, you get the sugar cane juice by extracting the by putting the cane through the two rollers. So in similar way, instead of the sugar cane, we have here the metallic piece. So workpiece is drawn in between the rolls by the friction. So this one person, Arman Garg, can you please mute your mic?
Hello.
Yeah, can you please mute your mic?
कर दिया कर दिया कर दिया
Your mic is not muted.
अरे कर दिया माइक म्यूट कर दिया भाई कर दिया अरे कैसे रह गया था पता नहीं नहीं कर भाई कोई हैं
Can you please mute your mic? Your mic is still unmute.
I think there is option to mute everyone.
Yeah, but then okay. So what is happening here, that these rolls are basically pulling in the metal through the by the roll of this friction, and this is basically also regulates the friction, also regulates the value of the reduction in the thickness. So this reduction in the thickness that is there is known as the draft. So this is a technical term draft. So this is basically the change in thickness which happens because of the rolling process. So again, this rolling process, it can either be in the hot working or it can be in the cold working. So the rolling process becomes in the regime of hot working when the temperature is above the recrystallization temperature of the metal. So if it is above the recrystallization temperature, it becomes hot rolling. If it is below the recrystallization temperature, it becomes cold rolling process. And in rolling, there is another important thing, that the stress that is induced because of these compressive forces, it is beyond the stress value is beyond the yield point, but it is less than the fracture. So this means this stress is playing an important role only in this plastic deformation uh, zone. So what we are doing is we are plastically deforming the material, and in particular to rolling, the deformation is by reducing the thickness and thereby increasing the length. So this is what is happening in the rolling process, and these type of many products are there, which I will show in some photographs in the subsequent slides. And in the rolling process is also sometimes coupled with the casting process. So this becomes a continuous casting process, which is shown here. So as we have studied in the casting process, we have the mechanism of basically melting the molten metal and then pouring it in a mold. So in this case, the mold in the material is continuously being poured in the mold and is being then allowed to solidify, and then continuously it is being removed. And as the material is getting removed from the mold, there are rollers which are being placed, and these rollers, they basically are trying going on compressing the solidified metal, and upon getting suitable length, we cut this into suitable lengths known as slabs. So basically three type of products are made generally using the rolling process, which are termed as here as slab, bloom, and billet. So what is important here to see these dimensions of these different products. So why this is cut in suitable lengths? This is basically to allow suitable for transportation or assembly. So generally these are cut in suitable length. But you can understand, as the quantity of the molten material is available, so the continuous casting process, it can produce very long slabs, and this is basically a combination of casting and the rolling process. This is very popular, and these all starting materials which are available in the form of slab, boom, or billet, they are made using this continuous casting process. So rolling is not only limited to those type of like simple geometry kind of products, but these products which are obtained from the continuous casting process, they can be further formed into different products like strips, which have a thickness less than 6 millimeter. We can also make pipes, we can make plates, we can make these hot rolled bars are there, rods are there, tube rounds are there. So you can see wires are there, pipes are there. Then all these structural shapes like these I sections or the rails on which the trains they run. So all these products, they are made using this rolling process. So what is happening here? By changing the geometry of the roll or the contours of the roll, we can have different type of rolled products. So by changing this configuration, the different type of products can be made using this rolling process. So now what is the main mechanism how this rolling is basically taking place? So in rolling, the role of friction is very, very important. So it is the friction, if I talk of these two roles. So if here is a molten material, the workpiece going in, and here it is coming out. So friction will start at this point, sorry, at this point, and it will basically continue up to this point. So as the workpiece passes through these two rolls, so the compressive forces, they basically build up here. To a certain extent, they built up, and just before exit, the compressive forces, they drop. So this region where the compressive forces are maximum are known as this plane is basically this plane where the compressive forces are maximum. It is known as the neutral plane. So it is the plane where the compressive forces are at the maximum value, and just before exit, the forces, they drop, and then the material is removed. So you can also understand as the thickness is getting reduced and the length is getting increased, so the velocity at inlet, if I say velocity at inlet is basically always less than velocity at outlet. So at neutral plane where the plane is intersecting, the velocity of this surface velocity of this roll and the velocity of this workpiece at which it is moving out, it becomes equal. But beyond this, the final velocity of the product is at a higher value compared to the initial velocity. This is basically to compensate the increased length of the product. And neutral plane is basically the plane at which the value of these compressive stresses are maximum. Now to control this friction, here basically controlling the friction between the surface of the roll and the workpiece. So different ways are there. So either you can increase the friction or you may decrease the friction. So generally what is the rule? So in hot working, if it is hot rolling process that is above the recrystallization temperature, so the friction coefficient of friction values, they range from 0.5 to say 1, and in cold rolling, so these values are less. So there is another parameter which is known as the angle of bite. I will discuss. So in cold rolling, the values of friction, coefficient of friction are kept at 0.2 to 0.3 say, but in hot rolling, the coefficient of friction is on the higher side, because you can understand in the hot rolling regime, the workpiece is at an elevated temperature, so which basically provides a softening effect to this workpiece, thereby increasing the friction between the roll and the surface of the workpiece. Another important parameter in this case is, I will draw this here. So that is known as the angle of bite. So if this is the center of the roll, so this angle which covers this complete arc, this angle basically is known as theta. It is known as the angle of bite. So angle of bite is basically the angle which determines that what will be the thickness reduction during the rolling process. So this angle of bite, this can be again for hot rolling, theta can be very high values, can have a value of, sorry, this will be only degrees, 24 degrees to 32 degrees, and this is for hot rolling. For cold rolling, theta will be having a very less value, comparatively less values, so 10 to 12 degrees. So generally you can understand for finishing type of rolling where you need a good surface finish, so cold rolling is the process which is used, and in where you need to reduce the thickness of the stock to a greater extent, so in that case hot rolling is more popular. And in hot rolling, since the temperature is at an elevated value, so the coefficient of friction will be higher, and correspondingly the angle of bite will also be on the higher side, and this basically will help in reducing the thickness of the workpiece to a greater extent. If it is a cold rolling process, the coefficient of friction will be less, angle of bite will also be less, so the reduction in during this passage of the workpiece from the rolls will also be less. And I have already discussed in the previous slide the reduction in the final thickness or the change in thickness, that is initial thickness minus final thickness, is known as the draft. And this draft is also dependent on the mu and r, where mu is basically the coefficient of friction between the workpiece and the roll surface, and r is basically the roll radius. So this friction is also controlled in an optimum value by using different type of lubricants, that are some type of oils, inorganic synthetic oils are there. So they are being introduced in between, and they basically help to control this value of friction. So this is the basic mechanism how the rolling takes place, the different parameters in terms of the angle of bite, then coefficient of friction, and the importance of neutral plane. So just to see the schematics clearly, I'll quickly remove all this. So whatever I have explained using the schematics I have drawn myself. So there are other explanations which are similar to it in the slide as well. So this is the other and the same thing with the schematics already present. So now these rolling mills are there. So rolling mills are basically arrangements of the I can say this roll in different configurations. So these rolling mills are there. So again, the rolls can be of two big size or small size. So generally, there are two type of rolling mills. So if the depending on the diameter of the roll. So if the diameter of the roll it is small, so then these type of rolls are basically good for hot rolling, and they also have a high angle of bite, high angle of bite. So you can understand small roll means they can apply more value of stress, compressive stress, and if this diameter is big, so this type of rolls are basically good for cold rolling, where the angle of bite is small. So generally for finishing type of processes or to maintain the final shape, so these big type of rolls are used. So this is about the diameter, and then the configuration of these rolls. So based on the configurations, there are several varieties of rolling mills. So rolling mills are basically the name given to the machines which do the rolling process. And one passage of this workpiece from this entry point to exit point is known as pass. Means it is a one pass process or it is a multi-pass process. So depending on what is the final thickness of the workpiece which is required. So there may be multi-pass rolling mills. I will show the arrangement, or they may be the number of passes can be selected accordingly. Now next is basically the three high rolling mill. So in three high rolling mill, basically there are three set of rolls. So these rolls are there, 1, 2, and 3. So first you pass the workpiece from the gap between 1 and 2. So you reduce the thickness to certain extent, and again then you pass this roll from the gap 2 and 3 to further reduce the thickness. Now reduction in thickness means from 1 and 2 and 2 and 3 is basically independent, although the final thickness is quite less than the initial thickness. Now there could be a question that why we need three high rolling mill when the same thing can be accomplished with two high rolling mill. So always remember, while reducing the thickness of the workpiece, so we have to also optimize the energy input in the process. You may be able to reduce the thickness with the two high rolling mill, but you will be expending lot of energy, and then there will be lot of wear and tear on these rolls as well. So in order to minimize those type of issues, basically we use this three high rolling mill where we gradually go on reducing the thickness in different passes. So here if it is one pass machine, so this you can see can be a two pass machine, where this is pass 1 and then you pass it again between gap of 2 and 3, it becomes pass number 2. Next there are four high rolling mills. So in the four high rolling mills, basically what is there? So there is four rollers are there, in which the rolling is essentially done by the smaller rolls, which are supported by the bigger rolls in the housing. So those are also known as the backup rolls, and this type of four high rolling mills are very popular for very high, when you need very high draft. Means when you need very significant reduction in the value of the thickness. In that scenario, the four high rolling mill is very popular, because you can understand in this case the work rolls, which are the actual rolls which are in contact with the workpiece, are of the smaller diameter, but the backup rolls which are supporting these work rolls are of the larger diameter. Now these basically help to apply additional pressure, which consequently builds up or induces additional compressive stress. This additional compressive stress helps to reduce the thickness or provide you a very high value of draft. So this type of rolling mill, you can understand, will be a quite expensive rolling mill, and this expense of the rolling mill is offset by increasing the number of workpieces or increasing the quantity of the workpieces which is being processed using this type of rolling mill. So four high comes from the name that there are four rolls. Three high comes from the name there are three rolls, and similarly two high comes because there are two rolls. And then there is another configuration of the rolling mills, which is known as cluster or it is also known as Z mill or Sensmere mill. So in this case, you can see there are many uh, rolling pairs, but all these rolling pairs basically they are supporting the final rolls which are doing the actual rolling process. So final roll shown here in the blue color are being supported by these two pairs of roll in green, then these three orange, and the four brown rolls. So this type of rolling mill can give you even higher draft than the 4 high rolling mill, but the cost to set up such a rolling mill will be very high. So these are not much popular. The more popular in the industry are 2 high, 3 high, or 4 high rolling mill. But this type of rolling mills are also possible, but the cost of setting up such a rolling mill will be very high, because you can understand you will be expending energy basically to move all these rolls. So all these rolls when you move, so a lot of energy is needed. So the process becomes very expensive. Then next configuration of the rolling mills are basically tandem rolling mills. So tandem rolling mills are basically rolling mills where the different sets of rolls are there, and they are basically gradually reducing the thickness of the workpiece. So here if you see the example, so we start here with the thickness of 2.25 millimeters, and we end up say with the thickness of 0.26. So almost the reduction is 1/10. So almost you are reducing the thickness to 1/10, but this is not happening in one go. So you have different sets of the rolling mills as shown here: 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So all these sets, what is important here, the gap, inter-roller gap is to reduce. So you start here with the inter-roller gap 1.45, it becomes 0.9 here, 0.56, 0.34, and the final one is 0.26. So tandem means the velocity is adjusted in such a way that you get sufficient time for the workpiece to pass through the roll and get plastically deformed. And as it passes from one set of roll, or we call it stands of roll. So sets of roll are also known as stands of roll. So it takes the next stand, it takes up the sheet, further reduces the thickness, then sends it to the next stand. Means the rolling mills are working in tandem or in sync, and most of the rolling processes they are being configured in this way. You don't have to reduce the thickness in one set, rather you can have multiple sets which go on reducing the thickness as the workpiece passes through, and you can then basically get a very good quality of a product without expending too much energy. Now what is interesting to know, what is the material of the roll, because roll is coming in contact with the workpiece. Also it is being used in hot working conditions or in cold working conditions. So generally these rolls they have to have very high strength, means they should be able to bear these compressive loads to a very high value. They should also be resistant to wear, that is gradual loss of material because of movement of the workpiece on the surface of it. And at the same time the melting point should be significantly higher compared to the melting point of the workpiece. So commonly used materials include cast iron, cast steel, forged steel, tungsten carbide. So tungsten carbide is a very expensive material, so generally small diameter rolls are being used, and this is small diameter rolls are more popular in hot working process where the angle of bite is quite high and the coefficient of friction is also quite high, so the draft values are very high. And next important aspect of rolling is regarding the lubricants. So these lubricants, they play a very important role in maintaining the coefficient of friction between the roll surface and the workpiece surface. So different type of oils are there, as I mentioned earlier. So generally, different lubricants based on the material, like non-ferrous alloys, when they are hot rolled, so compounded oils are being used. And if the rolling process is done in the cold working regime, that is cold rolling, so in that case water soluble oils are being preferred, because if you use a water soluble oil in a high temperature or in a hot rolling environment, so water will get evaporated, so the lubricant will not spread out very evenly. So this is about what is the roll material and the lubricant in the rolling process. So then we move to description of certain varieties of rolling process. Although this is not an extensive list, but some of the common ones. So hot rolling process, as I already discussed, in the hot rolling process, you are working above the recrystallization temperature. So what will happen? The grain structure of the material after passing through the rolls will basically be deformed and smaller grains will be produced, which we also can say new grains are being produced. And you can observe in the reduced thickness, the grain size, it reduces to a good extent compared to the original grain size. So this basically reduction in the grain size will basically provide us enhanced properties in form of strength and hardness. So strength and hardness will basically increase for the material upon subjected to hot rolling. So high temperature basically is also important to remove these metal carbides, and generally these type of processes, they also alter the chemical and physical properties pertaining because of the change in the grain structure. So finer grain structure gives higher number of grain boundaries per unit volume, thereby impeding slip and increasing strength and hardness. Then another variant of the rolling process is basically skew rolling process. So as you have read about the skew lines are non-parallel, non-intersecting lines. So in this case also, in skew rolling, there is non-parallel, non-intersecting rolls, means the rolls are not parallel but are skewed. And in this case, the stock, so stock is an alternative name given to the workpiece. When you pass through the skew rolls, so you can end up creating such balls which are used in bearings and several other places. So actual videos of this process are being also linked in the Moodle. So I request everyone, you should at least see the video once. So those videos are actual process videos or animations which will help you in a better understanding of the process that are being discussed. So because of the name of the configuration of the rolls in a skew configuration, the process is being named as skew rolling process. Next is a thread rolling process, where basically we intend to create external threads on the cylindrical surfaces of the workpiece. So this is a cold rolling process where basically you have two dies, which can either be a flat die or a circular die, and the threads are being cut on the surface of these dies. So when the workpiece will be allowed to pass through it, so the compressive forces will be applied, and because of the plastic deformation under the influence of the shape of the die, the threads will be formed on the surface of the workpiece. So this is a very quick method to make threads other than machining processes. So they are used to make the screw, nuts and bolts, etc. So again, this process is also being linked through an actual video of the process, where you will see the actual thread cutting is being done without any loss of material. So if you do the thread cutting with a machining process, so material will be lost in the form of chips, and that is not the case in the thread rolling process. So if you compare the grain flow in the machine thread and the rolled thread, so you will see that in the machine thread, the grain is being removed. So from here, the material is removed. So here the material is removed, and in this case, the material is deformed. So the grain structure also deforms here. In this case, it becomes a discontinuous structure. So such type of basically structures, they are basically very favorable because of their improved strength. So rolling is not only limited to these type of generic or very common products. So rolled products are being also used in spacecraft, basically to make the external surface of the rocket solid casings. All these solid rocket casings which are being used here, solid rocket casings are basically the casings which provide the initial ignition to the spacecraft, and these are being made using the rolling process. Here you can see that you have a as cast blank, and then you go on changing the shape by different combination of rolling processes to develop this type of casing for the solid rocket booster. Then rolling, since it is a process which also encompasses different parameters. So if the parameters are not selected properly, there can be different type of defects being induced in the rolling or the rolled products, which are known as wavy edges. So where the edges become wavy. Zipper are there. You see some defects in the middle, and then edge cracks can also develop. And alligatoring is basically separation, if the separation of the rolled product into two halves. So these are some of the defects which occur in the rolling process. So because there are many parameters, so it is very hard to simplify how to minimize these defects in the scope of this course. But since there are many parameters like angle of bite, coefficient of friction, speed of the rolls, condition of the workpiece, so by controlling one or many of these, we can basically minimize these type of defects in rolling process. So with this, I'll stop here for today, and now I can take up questions from you if there are any.